to another episode of Level Up with Gal. Today we have a special guest joining us. Please welcome Meg Murphy, who is a mindset and health coach, to the freaking show. Hi, Meg. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling fantastic, amazing. How are you, Gal?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and joining us today. So excited to dive in with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm very excited.
Awesome. So first, let's start off with you sharing a little bit about yourself with all of us.
Yes, so I am a health and mindset coach. I focus a lot on self-love and creating self-awareness in people's lives so that they can just truly create a transformation for themselves. A little bit about me too. I'm Cuban, Irish American, living in South Florida. Some of my other hobbies include playing the violin, trying to get athletically inclined to playing soccer, but I love taking care of my health as well. And yeah, I relate to Gal a lot because I feel like we're both very bubbly. So that's just a little bit about me.
I love that. I know. Everyone follow Meg. We'll give you her info later because she's the best. If you like me, you like her.
Literally.
Like for real. So, Meg, so tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, what made you want to become a mindset and health coach?
Yeah, so a little bit about my journey. So I would say in high school, I really struggled with disordered eating, eating disorders, body dysmorphia. And at the root of that was really just struggling with self-love and believing that I was worthy of love. So I really got into mindset during my recovery because I started realizing how important our mind is. And I realized for a while I was living in this victim mentality of everything in the world was happening to me. And as I started to recover, I realized how much of a mental game this was because I was struggling with depression, and my eating disorder itself was a mental illness too. So when I kind of shifted into that victim to taking accountability of like, I can actually choose to change the thoughts that are in my head, and I can choose to think different thoughts about myself. I really went through a massive transformation in who I was, and almost like I was leaving that identity of this old version of me that had to validate myself to other people in order to receive love. And I was shifting into this version that was understanding that like as a human being, as we're all born, we're worthy of unconditional love. So that's really how I started to enter my mindset journey. And it just opened up so much awareness to me. And I really got into coaching from there because I just feel like I have a huge empath. And I know that so many people struggle with mental illness, but I feel like not that maybe they don't understand, but I think that it's not really known to us that we have the power to overcome that by so many of the little actions. Like you don't have to stay stuck where you are suffering, right? You can be vulnerable, you can ask for help. There's so many ways to get over it. So that's what really like kind of lit the fire in me. I was like, if I can do this, and I was at such a dark hole now and my life is transformed, like I'm so happy, I love my life. Then like I want to help other people who feel like they can't do that on their own.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So us a little bit about like your self-love journey. Like how did you wake up one day? How did you start that to start loving
Mhm.
yourself? Because I can relate to that so much. Like, so when people listening, if they're struggling, how they can know to start.
Yes. So for me, it really began when I was like hitting a rock bottom. Like I was just like talking the worst to myself in my head. Like every time I looked in the mirror, hated who I saw, and just was like constantly comparing myself to people online. And it was almost like I hit a breaking point of one night where I just realized like, am I going to keep doing this to myself for the rest of my life? Because I don't want to. Like I want to be able to love myself and have such a deep connection with myself. And I was realizing that it was like the vision that I had in my head for myself, like every time I looked in the mirror and I was talking down to myself, I was never good enough, no matter what I looked like. So I started to realize it wasn't about what I looked like, it was what I was thinking about myself in my head. So that's what really started to get me thinking of like, I can change the switch. I can change the narrative. Like, how can I start cultivating more love for myself? So I began by doing things that made me happier, by catching the thoughts in my head. If it was saying, like, I'm ugly, just stopping it and not identifying with the thought, by just letting it float by, understanding that it's just a thought, like I don't have to attach myself to it. And how can I then replace that with the thought of like, I love myself? And I know a lot of people, because I actually had a prior client, we were working on affirmations. And one of them I gave her was to tell her, like, look in the mirror every day and say, I love myself. And she said, I'm really struggling with this affirmation because when I say it, I don't believe it. And
Mm,
I told her, I was like, I completely get where you're coming from. So let's rework the affirmation. I'm learning to love myself. And she resonated with that a lot better and was able to feel it and really attach that energy with it. So I think that's important too. If you're just starting your self-love journey, like meeting yourself with grace. It's not something that just happens overnight that you just wake up and suddenly are in love with yourself. And even now and then, like I'm sure you can relate to, I have those days where I'm maybe not feeling the best about myself, but I know at my root, I love myself and I love who I am. Like you're going to have bad days, you're going to have good days, but when you have that connection and really take the time to heal, you will love yourself more than you can possibly imagine.
100%. Yeah, I love that. I love how you switched that affirmation too to make it fit for
Mhm.
her.
Mhm.
I like that. So everyone listening, write that down. Yeah.
Customization.
Yes, because I had the same thing with a client too, who was like, who struggled with self-love. And when I would, tell him like put on a sticky note, I love myself. He was like, I don't even know what that means. So he really struggled with that too. So I really like that. So I was like, well, like those are my words. I go, what words would you like to use? So I had him create his own. Like, I like myself. Okay, let's start there.
Mhm.
And then we'll upgrade you, is what I like to call it. Like
Yep.
yeah, once you get to that next level, because he didn't even want to like he stopped looking at that mirror. I'm like, no, that's the purpose, right? Of
Yes.
what we're trying to do here. So I like that a lot. So
Mhm.
and then with the help piece of what you do. So tell us a little bit about like what you help clients with and how you got into that and added that to what you do today.
Yes, so health was such a huge part of my journey too, because I had such a messed up relationship with food for years, like created all these food rules, cut out sugar, wasn't able to enjoy family events like during the holidays because I was so focused on like, this is going to make me fat. I can't eat this. And like, it was ruining my life. It was taking me out of the present moment. And around the time where I was recovering from my eating disorders, I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I used to enjoy life so much. And so I really got into health by looking at like I know people are like, oh, this is good for you, this isn't nutrient density. And I do take a whole foods approach, but I think of also incorporating foods that make my soul feel good. They make me feel connected to my family. Like if my mom made her homemade banana bread, I used to be like, oh, can't have that, too much sugar, it's gonna make me fat. And now I like enjoy a slice, like feeling the love that she took to cook from it. So, how I help my clients with that is I like to do what's called like a nutritional audit. So, we go through what their lifestyle looks like now, what their diet looks like now, and we just make some tweaks, like nothing drastic, because to me, the point of living a healthy lifestyle is to have a life. And if you're on a diet that's just not sustainable for you long term, you're trying to get a quick fix, like it's just not going to be worthwhile. So I like to just help them make little tweaks, like, for example, soda. If you're drinking soda all the time, how can we replace that with a better beverage, sparkling water? There's this prebiotic soda called Olipop that's amazing. So just making those little tweaks so you can feel better, but then you're also just living with like, I don't know, it's just a different energy.
Yeah, for sure. And I like how you said like little tweaks, right? Because when people think of change, they're like, you want me to change it completely and like
Mhm.
lose every piece of me. But it's like when you do a little bit at a time, it's not so scary.
Yes.
And I haven't heard of that drink. I was like, oh, what's that? So I have to check that out.
You have to try. I'll send you like they have them at Whole Foods. I'll send you a picture
Oh,
later. They're so good. If anyone's listening, I think it's Olipop, but they're so good for your gut health. It's like a prebiotic soda, good fiber, low sugar, and amazing flavors.
yeah, no, no, definitely send that to me. Yeah,
Mhm.
I like how you always post like about protein bars and certain shakes and
Mhm.
stuff that you had, to help people. So I think that's really awesome. So people are definitely gonna want to follow you to see it because every time I see you post, I was like, oh, I haven't had that protein bar before.
Yeah, so good. They're so good. I love my protein bar reviews.
Yes, for sure. And then, so you help people obviously with their mindset and then their health. So do you help them build like a workout plan as well and nutrition as well?
So I actually don't specifically do like macros or like here we're going to be monitoring your progress for workouts. I recently have done more of a shift towards like the mental blocks of self-awareness. And I do like the nutrition and fitness on the side, but it's more so like you have your workout split. I can even provide you with one if you want. And it's just more so holding them accountable in those areas. Same thing with the nutrition, like we'll make the tweaks, we'll evaluate each week, but I'm not going to be monitoring like your macros. If people are looking for that, like I'm not the coach for that. I'm more of a let's do this intuitively. We're going to connect the mind, body, soul, and like live in alignment. So it's fun because it's like a little add-on, but it's not like super structured.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah. So it's because I mean everything starts with mindset, right? And
Yeah.
whatever we do, our health,
Hmm.
our habits, right? Whatever we're thinking about, that's what we're gonna end up doing. So I like that a lot. I like
Hmm.
that approach. So and I like how honest and upfront you're like, hey, this is what I provide. And if
Yes.
there's something with macros and kind of that's not my cup of tea.
Hmm.
And it's not mine either.
Yeah,
It's not mine
that's not
either.
my area of expertise for sure.
Me either. You want to talk about fasting? I'm all for that because I'm a huge like fan of fasting and like
Yes.
workouts and stuff. But a lot of people,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on fasting?
Yes. So it's really interesting. For intermittent fasting, I know it's actually really good for men. It isn't as good for women during certain times of your cycle because
Mm,
our hormones fluctuate. So it's pretty interesting. I believe the maybe the third or fourth, I believe it's the luteal phase. It's actually not as beneficial to fast because your body does need more increased carbohydrates. Your energy is lower, so it can be damaging at certain times. So I think it's important to do the research because a lot of the studies on intermittent fasting and the benefits were done on males because at one period in I think the late 1990s, pregnant women or yeah, just pregnant women were banned from studies. And even now, a lot of women, just due to that, like our hormonal range, like it's always changing or it's changing in the cycles, they don't really do a lot of testing. So they haven't like found the benefits. They're like, oh, these benefits are for everyone, but like a lot of the studies aren't done on women; they're all in men. So it's interesting.
that is very interesting. I didn't know
Mhm,
that. But you
mhm.
make a really good point though, because when I was fasting or I tried fasting on my cycle, I don't feel so good.
Yes,
Like, I
yes.
feel like horrible, like worse than
Mhm,
even like normal. And I'm like, okay, it's because like obviously our body is going through this whole cycle and we need food. Like,
mhm, mhm.
can't
Yeah,
fu-
your body's like, "What are you doing?"
exactly. Cause I've tried working out too. And I'm like, I feel like I'm dying.
Yes, no, that's definitely gonna be your luteal phase, like working out because your body actually like is lower in energy, so it's not as beneficial to do hit workouts. So during that time, it's really important if you're feeling it, go for it. But sometimes your body's gonna want more of that rest, so you just want to do more like yoga, Pilates, like something more lower intensity, longer walks. Like that's not the time to be like hitting your PRs, like
Right,
nothing like.
exactly. No, I love that you brought that in because, so many like people in general, not just women, but guys too, we're like, oh, we're gonna go hard, anything that we're doing, right? Especially
Mhm.
fitness. I feel like, well, like I gotta feel that soreness or that burn, or I feel like I didn't do enough, you know?
Yes.
Because even with like yoga, right? I'm actually slowly getting back into that because I was like, no, I'm like, I want to go hard, but you don't
Mhm.
always have to.
Yes, I think that's so important because me too, like even when I'd work out, I would always think if I wasn't sore, I didn't make progress. But you don't have to be sore to make progress at all. Like if you have that mind muscle connection, yeah, I thought it was for that was like wait, mind muscle connection. If you have that mind muscle connection, like that's golden.
Yes, I know. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about like mindset. So what would you say to somebody who's like kind of like, I think my mindset's okay, but it's not. How do I know if I need mindset work?
Hmm. I have to like really let that sink in. Let me see. If someone was like, I don't know if I need it, well, I would probably start by asking them, like, do you mind if I ask you, are there certain areas of your life where you either feel like you're struggling or you feel like you're settling in right now? To kind
Mm.
of just see like where they're feeling that.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Cause I find like a lot of people who are like, I don't think I need it. You probably actually do.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You just don't know like how it
Where?
can help you.
Hmm.
Because we get so stuck in the way we think that like we only know what we know until someone shifts our perspective and it's like, maybe I do need help,
Yes.
kind of
It's like
thing.
that opening awareness.
Yes. And so many times we're like, no, but I've been functioning this way my whole life. I'm good. But has it been working?
Yes, has it been working? And one thing too is if you're questioning it, you probably do want like a perspective shift or something to change if you're kind of questioning that
Yeah.
already.
100%. So what would you say to someone who is like, I think I want to coach or mentor, but I don't really know if I do. Like, what would you say to them? Because like related to yourself, like before you hire your first coach, how did you know you were ready for that?
Yes. So, two answers to your question. I would say to them, well, first, like, are you open to hearing my perspective, or are you open to hearing a different perspective and then even sharing like mine? For me, I knew I was open to coaching because honestly, since high school, I have always wanted a mentor, always wanted a coach. Like, I've always known I love working on mindset, love learning about the subconscious, like everything I've, and even doesn't even have to be like in this realm, like any having a mentor just in life, because like things happen and you're like, I want to ask someone that's older than me that can give me advice. Like it is so powerful to have those perspectives. So like I've always been so open to receiving that because I know that like I'm one person, and even if I try to think outside the box, like my box is still around me. And so like having someone else who's from a completely different background or perspective or knows so much different things than me, like giving me unbiased information or perspective on my situation is a game changer. It will save you so much time. It will get you so far ahead in everything in life because it's like literally condensing time. You don't have to make the mistakes, and you still will. Like I still make mistakes all the time, but I can learn from them quicker when I can go to my mentor and be like, hey, I'm dealing with this. This is my reaction. Like, what do you think? And it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. And just to have that person ready to go to, like, hey, am I like overreacting or being
Yes.
reactive?
Yeah.
You
Get
know,
you out of
because
your habit.
yeah, because when we were in it, it's like,
Mhm.
no, I wasn't. Yes, I was. Like, we're like our worst critic, you know? So when
Yes.
we get someone else, they're like, it wasn't even that bad. Like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
You know,
No,
you
like
get that.
literally, the best is when like a mentor, even a friend, will be like, "Oh, that's happened to me," and then I'm like, "I thought I was the only one," and then you realize like everyone in the world has dealt with this too, and it feels so good.
Exactly. And it just reminds yourself and other people, like, you're not alone. You don't have to go through it alone.
Yes.
And like, no matter where your situation is, someone else has gone through something similar or sometimes even
Mhm.
identical.
Yep.
Yeah. So I love that. So share with us, how like you knew, when you started like getting more mentors, you're like, okay, I'm really ready for this. Cause for me, I wasn't sure, but I'll let you like chime in and tell us
Yes.
about that.
So, like, how I knew I was ready for mentorship?
Yeah.
Yes. I think it's been quite a journey. Like, so when I got out of college, I started my personal development journey. I knew I always wanted a mentor, but I honestly had no idea about the coaching space. Like, I had no idea I could go online and find people that I aligned with and like pay to be in a program or invest in myself. So, we joined a program together. That's how I met you. That was literally amazing. And that opened my eyes to all the opportunities for mentorship. And now I'm in a mastermind that it's like a monthly, and I have several mentors in there that I'm just like so grateful for because they teach me different areas. So I learned about somatic breath work, masculine feminine energy, business. There's like so much in there, honestly. It's like, and that's how I know that's, at least for me right now, is what I love, because I'm learning so much about life, self-awareness, healing, like could go on forever.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like once you find like your tribe, right? And the people that
Hmm.
for you, yeah, it makes a huge difference. So like, and thanks for sharing that. Because for me, at first when I started, I was like, I grew up like, hey, I'm gonna figure out my own. Like it's
Yes.
fine, doesn't matter how long it takes. I'm just, I'm super determined. And then like when I joined this program that how we met, I was like, this is so out of my box. Like I would not do something like
Yes.
this. But I'm like, but I got in, so what am I gonna do? So in that moment, when like, are you in or are you out? And I'm thinking, like, how the hell am I gonna pay for this? Like really. So then I was like, well, I guess I'm in. And then even after saying yes, and they're like, okay, first call, post your intro video, first calls tomorrow. I was like, what did I just do? Like I signed dotted line, so I guess I'm in this. And in that moment, I was like, you know what? This is gonna be the first time in my life I let people in to help me. And I've always been
Yes, that's
like, I help
powerful.
others. And I'm like, and I'm going to like always just figure out on my own and never let anyone help me. So that changed my perspective on mentors. But one day I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up for this. And who knows, maybe that was my higher self telling me, like, you need to change because it's not working.
Mhm.
Like you don't have to do everything on your own because exactly what
Yeah.
you said too. I love what you said. It literally it cuts out that time, right? When you have mentors or when you're working with clients too, like you're giving them the tools so they don't have to
Mhm.
sit here and Google the tools and
Yes.
try and error, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it's so different too when you have that support from someone versus having to go on Google. Because like, I remember in my journey, I felt so alone because I was trying to Google answers and was so confused, and then, like, now being able to help people and, like, actually be there with them through the journey or even vice versa, like, my mentors helping me through that, like, has skyrocketed my self-awareness. So, like, even when I see patterns in my life or things like circumstances, I'm like, oh, cool, I'm aware of this. Like I can change how I react or I can heal this or if this triggers me. Like it's not like I'm living in victim mode all the time or like an autopilot of my life. I feel like I'm more of the creator now and I get to decide what happens with obviously what's in my control, but that's what's cool. Like I can't control everything, but I can control my reaction.
100%. I love that. And that's something for people to remember, right? Because so many times we live life where we want to control everything, especially if, you grew up not being in control. Okay. And so you want to control
Yes.
everything and everyone and who's around you. And like one example, I'll use this when I used to go on vacation with my friends, I would want to know the whole schedule. I would want to be in control. What flight are we taking?
Mhm.
What restaurant are we eating at?
I'm
But
the
now
same.
I'm see, this is why we get along. Right? So
Mhm.
and then now I learned like, who cares? It's fine. We'll figure it out. Like we have a place to sleep. Okay, good. Right. Because
Yes.
I'm trying to be more adventurous, but, like, I'm not gonna just, like, pick a place when you show up somewhere because that's a little, like, too stressful. But, okay, we'll figure out a place to eat, no problem, no big deal. But before I was always like, I had this list, we gotta check it off, or I'm gonna have all this anxiety. But it's all because I wanted to have all this control because I didn't have
Mhm.
it growing up, you know? So and without mentors, I never would have understood, like, hey, this is a part of you that you need to work through and heal from
Yes.
so you can actually because it actually gave me more stress and more
Of
anxiety.
course. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I resonate with that a lot. Like that's been part of my theme for last year is like letting go of like the need to control everything and just like trusting. And it has filled me with like so much peace. It's not
Yes.
even crazy. When things like I was having issues with my car recently, it was thing after thing after thing. I kid you not, like the AC wasn't working, the battery died. Like it was just thing,
Oh,
thing, thing.
no.
And it reached a point where I was like, it's out of my hands and all I can do is just navigate through each problem and what happens happens. Like I could sit here and yeah, of course I cried a little bit. I was pretty upset. I'm a human. We feel emotion, it doesn't mean they're going to sit there and be like, yes, I've got this. But just flowing with life, I think has given me an ability to just be more peaceful versus getting worked up and so angry with everything.
For sure. No, I like that. Yeah, because it's like, what are you gonna do, right? You can't control the
Mm-hmm.
next thing that's gonna happen in your car. And then when you do try to
Mm-hmm.
control it, seems to get worse.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I can relate to that. That resonates so deeply. I know what that's like. It's like, wait, this is going wrong now, and then this is going like forget it. Like forget the car. We're just getting a new car.
Exactly. We're done. We're done.
100%. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And especially where you live, where it's warm, you need your AC.
Oh, it was 102 degrees in my car. My AC is blowing hot air. I put the windows down and I'm like, it's colder outside than it is in here.
Yeah. Oh no. What a rough
I
day.
know. I was like, this is hard, but I survived. I'm here.
Right, exactly, right? It didn't
Mhm.
break you, you're still kicking and showing up every day.
Mhm.
So Meg, what advice would you give to someone who's like, "Hey, I wanna hire a life coach or a mentor, but how do I know who to pick?"
I love, love, love that question. I think that it's really important to really first like find someone that you feel like you align with their values, like whether that be like finding them if you find them on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. If you really just feel like you resonate with their content, think like for me too, I'm trying to do more Instagram lives just to connect with people. But I really think it's like it's something that if you are looking to gain more self-awareness and go into your mindset and life, like life coaching journey, I think that you almost kind of internally know. It's almost like a gut feeling of like, I feel really aligned with this person. And then if you're able to have that conversation about with them about potentially working together, you'll just kind of know if there's a click. I think for me, at least, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, especially that you just feel it in your like your gut and your soul, like this person is going to help me. And like it's sometimes it's hard for people to grasp because like I can't see it. Like, how do you just know? But you really just like think like, hey, do I really feel a connection, right, with this person?
Yes.
And if I
Yes.
don't, or like, like what I was saying earlier, does it feel like yucky? You know,
Yeah.
if it does feel yucky, then it's not for me. But if it feels like I feel love and light for this person and they're speaking from the heart, okay, this person's for me.
Yes, I definitely feel like the connection will just be there, and, like, if they're for me, it's like I try to push, like, my clients out of their comfort zone, so if that person isn't clicking with wanting to be pushed out of their comfort zone, like, it's not gonna be the best energetic match, and that's okay because there will be someone out there, there will be a mentor out there for everyone. And I think that it's okay for you, say you're looking for coaching, it's okay to say no to the first few people if you don't feel like there's that connection. Like you have to honor yourself because you will know when the right person comes along.
Yeah, that's so true. Because sometimes, you're like, it's like there's a bunch of fishes in a pond, right? And you're literally like picking up and see like who's going to be a good fit for you. Or you resonate with their content and you get to know them a little bit more, one on one, and it's not for you. And that's okay.
Mhm.
And just keep finding people that are going to be the right fit for you. You know,
Yes.
I mean, we've had both had different mentors, in
Mhm.
our lives and not just one. And it's okay to have more than one too.
Yes.
Yeah, because for a while I was like, "Oh, am I cheating on the other mentor?" But you're really not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love several perspectives. I think that that's really, like, so important too.
Yes, definitely. No, I like that a lot. So thanks for bringing that in. And because I know some
Mhm.
people I talk to are like, "Well, how do I know, right? Like if it feels, I think it feels right, but I don't even understand what that means." Like, and actually, I want to just bring if you're someone who doesn't even like, you're not even sure how to trust your own intuition and your gut. Bottom line, just ask yourself, would I like to talk to this person weekly or bi-weekly?
Yes, yes. I love that question too, and it's so simple and to the point. Do
Mhm.
I feel safe to open up to this person? Do I feel comfortable? Do I want to have a conversation with this person?
Yeah, and if it's, it's either yes or no. That way it makes it a little bit easier and it takes out that gray part. Like it's maybe,
Mhm.
and then what if you sign up and then you feel like it's not actually in alignment?
Yep. Oh, what if they sign up and they feel like it's not in alignment?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Whew, I feel like if that happens, I think that I always live by this, like, honesty is the best policy, like, especially us as coaches, like, I know not to take things personally. So, like, I think that it's really important to just show up and be honest and be like, "Hey, I'm so grateful for the time that we shared, like, this is just not something I want to continue, or I want to just explore different avenues." And I think that that is so important because just that direct communication, like, I know not to take things personally, like, I wish people the best, like, and then that's it, you know?
Yeah, no, I love that because it's always like, like, and just like a no judgment zone, right? You should have to be honest with yourself in order for people to take
Yes.
you seriously. But if you're like a yes man or a yes lady to everyone, but deep down you're like, this is not even for me, you're only doing yourself a disservice.
Mhm, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. It's like how many times do we do something when we're like we feel bad, right? It's like
Mhm.
stop feeling bad for others. Start feeling bad for yourself because that's your time.
Yes. Mhm.
And you're losing
Exactly,
that time and your money.
exactly.
You can invest into
Mhm.
something else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
have to put yourself first.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
That resonates so deeply. Because as you were talking about self-love, that's something that I resonate deeply with too, just because like that's something I used to struggle with a lot. And it's like, oh, I want to be super skinny. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
too skinny now. Okay, I'm gonna put on a little bit more meat because I want some muscle, and it's like anyone who's listening who struggle with anything like that, like we totally get it. And what would you say to somebody who is like, how do I know what kind of workouts to do? Do I do cardio? Do I do weights? But I just want to look good and love myself.
Ooh, I definitely, like I said, this is always customized, but to give a general response, I'd find out first what they're doing,
Mhm.
kind of their diet. I'd always say like prioritize protein, whole nutrient dense foods, hydration. But if they're kind of wanting to see like, hey, what workouts work best for me? If you are looking to build muscle or maintain muscle and lean out, I would always say like you want to prioritize lifting. Get your steps in as well. You could do a little bit of cardio, but it's also important to listen to your body because some days I feel like stretching and doing yoga. Lifting is the most consistent thing for me. I do it like 3 to 4 times a week, but then I give myself that flexibility of doing a hit workout if I feel like it. I don't really go for runs. I try to be that person, but it's just not my thing. So I'll do like Stairmaster or an incline walk. So I'd say like just exploring that too, because there's so many different ways to move your body that doesn't just have to be in the gym.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I like that you said it because some people maybe they can't afford a gym membership, right?
Mhm.
And they don't like, and a lot of people tend to think like, I need to go for a run, right? I'm like, but like, and you just said it too perfectly. That's not your thing. You're like, I
Yes.
mean, it's my thing, but it doesn't have to be everyone's thing. Find
Mhm.
what works for you. And maybe it's a short YouTube video so you can do it at home
Yeah.
for free.
Yes. The best approach is the one that works for you that you can sustain long term.
Yes, I love that. That's so true. Because so many times people are trying things, a million things, and then nothing sticks. It's like throwing spaghetti
Yeah.
on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I love that analogy.
Yeah. No, I like that you said because it's different for everyone, right? And like, what do you
Mhm.
like to do, kind of thing. Like you lift, right? I love that you spend most of your
Mhm.
time lifting, which makes sense. Why? That's why you look so good in your tone, right? So, but just because oh, you're saying you lift doesn't mean whoever's listening, you need to lift too. Like, do you
Mhm.
want to lift? Do you enjoy that?
Yes. Yeah, and honestly, I'll share something with you, like, I have just been getting back into my gym routine, like, the whole past year, I was not feeling lifting at all, and I felt like I was like, "What's wrong with me? Like, I can't get myself to the gym, I'm so unmotivated." Literally, like, probably didn't work out for 6 months of the year because I was trying to force myself to do something I wasn't enjoying, and then towards the end of the year, I was like, "You know what? Like, let me just do what my body likes," and I started to just do more stretching, do more yoga, and I think that it's important. Different phases of your life are going to require different types of your energy. And if you're not feeling something, stop forcing yourself to do it. Start doing things that feel good for you. Don't beat yourself up if you don't feel like working out for a couple months. Like, what else can you do to stay active? Maybe it's not lifting. Maybe it's going for a run or doing some sprints or it's just merely stretching, Pilates. I don't know. You know what's best for you.
Yes, I love that you said that because it's so true, right? So many times, we're looking for outside validation or to tell us what we should do instead of asking ourselves, what do we want to do?
Mhm.
And it's like, or we see a friend do it, right? So one of my friends doing a cycle class, and I'm like, that is not for me. I do not like
Yeah.
cycling. I don't want to do that. So she was like begging me, and I'm like, I know I'm not gonna like it. Like, I totally get it. Try once. I go, but I have a bike myself, and I don't love it. And I don't want to cycle for an hour. But so you have to know what you like, right? And what you don't like. Because if you don't like it, why are you going to do it? And you're not going to want to show up and do it.
Mhm.
And I enjoy running. Some days I'm like, I don't want to go for a run today. And then I'm like, okay, stop being lazy. Like, go do the
Yes.
cardio.
Mhm. Go do it now.
Exactly. Because, like, yes, we're both coaches, but we're still human. Like, are we still have the overthinking mind that something comes in, or like, oh,
Mhm.
or we just want to chill on the couch and we're still human too. Because I think one of the misconception with being a coach is that like, we have it all together.
Yes. Oh my god, far from it.
Well, we don't, we're learning too. We're human and we don't have it all together. Maybe we know a little bit more than you do because of, how long we've been in our personal development journey, but we're not better than you or
100%, 100%.
yeah, because sometimes like people say, well, don't you know? Or I've heard, oh, you drink? Aren't you a coach? That's not healthy. It's like, yeah, I do like to drink too.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, I love a good
healthy.
spicy margarita.
Right, exactly. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm a margarita girl too.
Yes,
I love
this is
that.
good.
Yeah. And I love this episode and what we're talking about because then people get to see a little more insight of like, because you're a coach doesn't mean you have to be perfect.
Yes.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Oh my gosh. I'm, like, far from it, honestly, and I honestly love that you mentioned that too because I want people to understand that, like, we are human beings and, like, life just happens, like you said, we may know a little bit more on, like, just different areas, but yeah, life is far from perfect for anyone. I think that's, like, really important to bring up.
Yeah, and acknowledge that, like, you know what? And even if you meet somebody who knows a bit more than you, that doesn't mean that, like you're less of a person,
100, yep.
because sometimes people are intimidated, like, oh, she knows so much or he knows so much. So then they're not going to respect me. And they don't respect you, give you time of day. They're just not for you. And you don't like take it personally, but still continue to put yourself out there is what I always tell people because you're going to meet the right
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
You know, because like we're both coaches, but our personal development journeys too are going like different directions. Some things are similar,
Yes.
some aren't, you know, and that's the beauty of life. The life experience is that it's going to be different for each person.
Mhm.
Or someone works with you and then work with me, they're going to get a different experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. So share with the listeners a little bit, like if they want to work with you, kind of like how it works to work with you. Is it, monthly? How does it work with you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yes. So if you guys want to get in touch with me, my IG is at welcome to my Meg Talk. Feel free to send me a DM. I'm pretty good about getting back to people on there. Right now, I am offering my one-on-one coaching. So typically, what I do is 3 to 6 months. It is weekly meetings where we just dive in deep to. I do like a customized approach. So just helping with individual support, and then if for some reason the investment is too much for you with the weekly calls, I also do offer bi-weekly. So that are those are my little offerings right now. You can find me welcome to my Meg Talk on IG as well as TikTok. And then I'm gonna start doing some more IG lives too because I do want to connect more with my audience, just see where they want more support. So if even investing in coaching isn't something for you right now, stay tuned for those because I'd love to be able to support you in any way. But my DMs are always open. Like I love voice noting. So if you ever need advice on a topic or something, feel free to shoot me a message. I got you.
I love that. So what last piece of advice, anything that comes to mind, would you like to share with the listeners?
Uh, okay, let's see. Let's tap into the heart space.
Mhm.
Something that came to me in a meditation, actually, somatic breath work I did a couple weeks ago popped up. So I will share it. It was very powerful. Is to let go of the weight that you are carrying that is not yours. And I think it's really relevant today because a lot of people carry pain and hurt that has been given to them from other people. And I want them to know that like that's not yours to carry and you don't have to carry it anymore. Like it's okay to let that go. And it's okay to just breathe it out and just stand in your own energy and really just be in your own energy. It's okay to feel lighter. You can let it go.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, like literally, like Frozen.
Let it go and let it go.
Right. Okay, I should start using that.
Yes, you should, honestly.
I
It
love
was
that.
heard here first.
Right, exactly. On this episode, oh my gosh, thank
Yes.
you, Meg, for your insights, your knowledge, and being on this show. I appreciate you so freaking much.
I love you so much. Thank you, gal.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you. Everybody follow Meg too. Don't forget. And I'll put all your info on the bottom of the description of this episode so everyone can follow you.
Thanks, gal.
Thank you.